The president of the Namibia Motorsport Federation, Daniel Chongarero, is about halfway through what is meant to be his final term. Hello and welcome to Lights Out. I'm Miriam van der Walt, and today I will be chatting to Daniel Chongarero about what he has achieved during his first year of his final term. Take a look back on that year and then also the year ahead. Then we take a look at some South African drivers who have performed exceptionally overseas and have a quick look at your Formula One points and China expectations. We'll be right back.
Elke sportnaweek het baie aksie en baie wat gebeur en baie om oor te gesels. So skakel in by Op die Telbord. Dit is Maandag 1uur. DStv kanaal 285, ook op GoTV kanaal 25. Ek gesels lekker saam met Mike Potgieter en ons gaan hoor wat die naweek gebeur het, kyk wat die naweek gebeur het, ons kyk wat op die telbord gebeur het, ook op die veld en dan gesels ons met die afrigters en met die spelers. Ons hoor van al die aksie en waarom dit gebeur het en hoe dit die volgende naweek dalk anders kan wees. So skakel in, is 'n lekker gesels. Myself, Arie Hougaard en Mike Potgieter, dis op die telbord.
As promised, the president of the Namibia Motorsport Federation, Daniel Chongarero, joining me now. A year later, you recently, if you regularly watch Lights Out, you saw an interview of us a year ago. My hair was a bit shorter, you know, Daniel was, I think, a little bit less buff. Have you been hitting the gym a bit more?
I have actually, yeah.
Well, it shows, it shows.
Thank you.
So, Daniel, a year on, you are now into what is meant to be your final term as president of the Namibia Motorsport Federation. Last year we spoke on many different topics, development and funding among others. What do you think you have achieved in this first year as president in your final term?
Well, let's touch on development. So what we've done is obviously introduced a grassroots, another grassroots code, which is Gymkhana, which is taking quite a bit of traction.
Yeah.
We are looking at setting a few dates this year for the Girls on Track in terms of just getting that program running. I think I did touch last year on the development class that we wanted to introduce for our championship. Now that we haven't sort of achieved that target yet. We're still financially in a bit of a pickle. Trying to raise the funds to acquire the carts to be able to present that class is quite challenging. We're obviously not talking about one or two carts, but there is progress there. In terms of just competition, last year we had a fewer number of events, little bit less numbers in terms of competitors, but the quality has increased. We were able to facilitate the competition of, speak under correction right now, I think more than 7 competitions in the year where we, no, 5, where we had competitors compete in, one was in Italy, the other one was in, so there was, you know, there's, and that's, I'd like to think due to the fact that we create a conducive environment for competitions, but also created a platform where the competitors can excel.
Yeah, and then one point we always have to talk about when we're talking about organizing motorsport is money.
Yes.
There's lots of money going around in motorsport, but there never seems to be money for organizers and for motorsport federations and so on and so forth. So how do you as a federation, when you're trying to run a development class, where does that money come from?
So as a federation, our funds are generated from the activities of the federation. So that is licenses, license fees, event permit fees, etc., etc. That's how we sustain the federation. You can imagine that that's not a lot. Unfortunately, we are a sport that is perceived to be a rich man's sport. So when we knock on the doors of sponsors, they're like, you guys already have money, what do you need money for? So it really is a challenge for us. I think it's something that we have not been able to overcome since we took office, because there's initial interest, and then when we obviously make the final pitches, you know, that comment comes up.
You've got to put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. Now, obviously, the sport itself is a very financially intensive sport, but that's at competitor level.
Yeah.
It's not at administration and management level. So where we are, we need the funds to implement the development programs. We need the funds to ensure that we reach a level of competition that will boost talent, identify talent. And unfortunately, we don't have access to that, and it's not from the lack of trying.
Yeah, I must say in the past year, I have definitely noticed the increased quality in competitions, not just in the sense that, more people are going overseas, but the racing that I did attend somehow was for me of far higher quality than I think I'm used to.
Yeah, I think that's just, I think in part down to the fact that we have a lot more competitions. We've increased some of the minimum number in terms of the championships, and of course now that we have almost all our codes bar one or two, I think that's drag racing and spinning, that at the moment is not a national championship. They've sort of gone a level down to club championships. At national championship level, there's a greater hunger, there's a greater drive, and that drive brings you can see the level of competition then increase. So I think that's really good for us.
And that is one thing that I did want to ask you about, and maybe you've just answered my question, but this increased quality of competition and the increased quality of our competitors, like you say, we had more people going overseas, kind of holding their own. I don't think we had any major wins overseas, but they've definitely held their own overseas. Which to me, we've been having this conversation for a long time about we need to get more competitors on the track, and then they'll build the confidence and everything. But seeing how well they hold it down overseas, clearly we're doing something right where we are now, as we are now.
I'd like to think
What are we doing right? You know?
I'd like to think so. I think we're a little bit more nurturing, in the past, I think the Federation had a very distanced type relationship between itself and its member clubs and competitors. So, in terms of that, we try to be a little bit more nurturing, we try to be a little bit more involved. And in doing so, I think we create an atmosphere where there is confidence. And if there's confidence behind a wheel, there's results. You see it all over the world. And we see the level of confidence increase with our competitors, so we see the level of competition increase. There's a lot of small factors, but very, very minute factors, but combined they make it creates a positive effect, and that positive effect then sort of evolves into what you see.
Yeah, little things become big things.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then I want to, on the little things, what little things do you think we need to change now so that they can become big things? Looking at the confidence we've built, looking at the improvements we've had, what improvements are next? They can never be perfect. There's always the next thing.
100%. There's always room for improvement. I think we could have a few more competitions. That equates to seat time, competitive seat time. We could have a lot more, have programs where we introduce a lot more competitors. This is really where our grassroots and development plays a key role, because we need to decentralize, which we are doing. I'm sure you know that the Girls on Track program was not just in Windhoek, it was in different regions. And we want to, this time, kind of visit regions that we haven't visited before, and create a buzz and excitement there and interest there. And we could, in that way, identify talent, bring that talent into the fold, and the more people you have competing for something, the greater and furious the competition is, and that's how you elevate skills.
Yeah. That's right on to my next point.
Yes.
Girls on Track, we are seeing a lot of young women come into Namibia. I think Namibian motorsport has always had, women playing their role and contributing greatly to motorsport in various roles. Have you, as the Federation, noticed that it is somehow different for the girls who are coming in? Are they struggling with certain things that the boys maybe are not with? Or they...
No, they're not struggling at all. I'll tell you what, we recently had our prize giving, our AGM and our prize giving. And I made a joke at the prize giving, specifically in rallying, which is a code you will, I won't say you will rarely see women, but they've been there, clearly.
Yeah.
But the numbers, in terms of what we saw on the podium, not just competing, was immense. Compared to last year, I think that number, if I can just thumb suck, increased by 70%, just in terms of podium finishes. you will. I think there was an image that was circulating in the publications in the print media, where we had all the ladies that received prizes on the day. You know, I mean, it was crazy.
Yes.
It was a lot. It was a lot, and made me very proud. I actually emphasized it so much that evening. I think anyone that was there would tell you. I kept saying it is something that needs to be celebrated, and it is something that we need to see more of. So I'm really, really proud of that. I'm really happy to see that as well.
Yeah. And I must say, in the past year, as we are talking now, you know, increased quality of competitions. Our marshals have also become considerably better. We've always had pretty good marshals, I think.
Indeed.
And then the women just Lamarck Squin. they're in the rally division. That would indicate to me that even as small as Namibia is, there's something we can offer to motorsport. What do you think that thing is that Namibia can stand as an example
I think
for?
we're very unique. Internationally, if you look at our neighbors, if you look at, and I don't even want to go just Africa alone. Apart from South Africa, we are one of the countries that offers the most codes. Bar South Africa, there's no one else. The others have either rally or just rally, or either just starting circuit, maybe
Or
karting or drag racing, gymkhana. We have 9 codes that we offer for this small fraternity in this country, and it's not 9 codes where you barely are fielding competitions. All the classes are full. Competitors, the numbers are full. So clearly we are offering a conducive racing environment, and that to me is amazing. For us as a small country to be able to do that speaks volumes. Now, of course, we have a strong racing sort of heritage. We have a strong racing interest in this country, and to be able to now, and as I said, now it's 10 because we've just introduced Gymkhana. So obviously, for us to be able to have such a strong offering and have when you can choose where you want to compete, as opposed to you just want to do karting or you just want to do drag racing, but that's not really for you. You may want to do enduro. You may want to do an MX, or you might want to do 2 wheels instead of 4. That interest and choice that we offer, I think, is key for us, because people then they can decide where they want to get involved.
I also really want to chat to you about Gymkhana. But first, I have a very technical question. I'm a Formula 1 girl, Daniel. I don't know, and you as the viewer and you as Daniel will have to forgive me, I don't quite understand what the difference is between slalom and Gymkhana. They're both very technical, somewhat slow-paced.
So are we talking slalom like hill climbs? Are we talking slalom? Because Gymkhana is really just a form of slalom. The rules are different, a little bit different in terms of how you set it up, but ultimately it's slalom. You put together a course, and the car gets from A to B at the fastest time, usually against each other, sometimes one-on-one. So Gymkhana is a form, slalom is a form of Gymkhana. Very much have the same heritage in terms of DNA, how it's structured, and skills. We very seldomly here differentiate between the two.
Yeah. No, you've given me something to go Google. Is that heritage?
Yeah.
I think motorsport heritage is a very important thing to look at, but also an important thing to look at. The Gymkhana now starting in Namibia. What do you think the potential is for that in developing motorsport?
So here's the thing: Gymkhana, us introducing Gymkhana isn't something that that is isolated. It is actually something that FIA is pushing across all its ASNs. So that genre is going to grow. That there's international championships now in Gymkhana. So the opportunity for growth and the opportunity for competition at that level is huge, because obviously we can now feed into the competitions that are brought in based on that specific code. And that's very nice.
Yeah. And how's the interest been so far?
Huge.
Really?
Yeah. Huge,
oh,
huge.
Wow.
So I think we'll have to see when we host the next event. But it's huge.
I'll be on the sidelines. Just let me know what I need to put on my glitter poster.
We will do so.
But thank you so much for
It's
joining
an
us.
absolute pleasure.
Hopefully you can join us at the end of the year and we can have a proper look.
100%. We can always come back and review and see where we are, where where we've been, and what we're doing and what we're not doing. It's myself and my team in terms of the EC are firm believers in holding ourselves accountable to what we do or what we envisage to do. Initially, when we started, we had a proper 5-year strategic plan, which we set out, and we've reached about 70% of that. The 30% that is not reached is directly tied to capital and fundraising. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, that's a challenge. But in terms of what we initially wanted to set out for ourselves, I think we've done that, and we will continue to evolve.
Yeah, I think you've done that, and I think if we've already achieved 70%, I am excited for the 70% we're still going to see in your last
100%.
year. We've seen great things over the past year. I'm very excited for what we'll see in the
Great.
last one. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That was Daniel Chongarero, the president, during his last year as president of the Namibia Motorsport Federation.
From the heart of the continent to its farthest horizons, Africa awakens with stories that shape our world. This is Africa Good Morning, your window into the pulse of a dynamic continent. I'm Ashwin Berry, here to deliver the latest news, sharp insights, and the vibrant spirit of Africa. Every weekday, we dive into the headlines, uncover untold stories, and spotlight the people driving change. Plus, stay ahead with daily weather forecasts and economic updates to navigate your week with confidence. With direct coverage from our correspondents on the ground, we bring you in-depth access to Africa's beating heart. Mondays, Mike Situla reports from Zambia.
Africa, good morning.
Tuesdays, Talent Gore covers Zimbabwe. Wednesdays, Rorisang Mokojwe brings Botswana's news. Dumela, Rorisang.
Thank you very much, Ashwin, for having me right here on Africa Good Morning. It is always a pleasure to be here with you all.
Thursdays, Ari Hogarth tackles South Africa.
Yes, very good morning, Ashwin and Aina. Yes, a good atmosphere.
And Fridays, we focus on Namibia's bold narratives. From thriving cities to rugged plains, our team is there, capturing the rhythm of a continent on the rise. Africa Good Morning is your essential start. News, weather, economics, and more.
From the development of Namibian drivers to compete internationally with Daniel Chongarero, we now move over to South Africa, where over the past weekend, a couple of South African drivers have made their country extremely proud. Let's have a look. Andrew Rackstraw competed in the Motorland Aragon in Spain at Aragon for the final 2 rounds of the prototype Winter Series. He obtained P3 in the first race and P4 in the second race and narrowly missed out on a podium for that second race. Over to the USA, Dominic Doyle and Darren Binder both competed in the Moto America at the Daytona International Speedway. Darren Binder and Dominic Doyle competed in the opening round of the Moto America Championship and ended up in 6th for Dominic Doyle. And then Dusan Radojevic competed in the RMC Italy Karting Championship, extremely competitive karting championship there, and ended 9th of the 23 drivers. Very big congratulations to these drivers on their achievements. We're hoping for many more from South Africa and the rest of Africa. It was a very exciting season opener in Australia over the past weekend for the Formula One season, and one that changed many fans' minds about the new 2026 spec. Let's have a look at your point scorers for the 2026 Australia Grand Prix. George Russell took home the big pot with 25 points. This also means that he's currently leading the World Drivers' Championship. Mercedes also having a good day with Kimi Antonelli, who scored 18 points in the season opener. Charles Leclerc obtaining his first podium for the season with Ferrari with 15 points in the bag. Lewis Hamilton secured 12 points right behind Charles Leclerc. Very tough fight there for Lewis Hamilton up against Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris, your defending world champion, raking in 10 points at the Australia Grand Prix. Not a good race for his teammate Oscar Piastri, the home hero, Australia's very own, crashing out on the formation lap. Max Verstappen also had quite a severe crash over the weekend, but he did bring home at the end of that Grand Prix, brought home 8 points, followed by Ollie Behrman bringing in 6 points and points on his debut for Arvid Lindblad with 4 points in the kitty for him. Gabriel Bortoletto scoring 2 points and Pierre Gasly with 1 solemn singular point in the bag. And that's your season opener. Now we move on to China, a track where we expect many overtakes, where notoriously the Ferraris were disqualified from the sprint race for plank, where hopefully none of that will happen again. We are expecting even more overtakes with the 2026 spec of cars, where the cars are smaller and more nimble, thus facilitating more overtakes. So it might be chaos or it might be cinema over in China at Shanghai.
AITSA is 'n eg Namibiese inisiatief. Ons reis op die hartklop van Afrika en vertel stories van mense en hulle dorpe op verskeie platforms insluitende televisie en sosiale media. Dit is joune, syne, julle en ook almal van hulle aan die ander kant van ons grense sinne en dit maak AITSA 'n lekker ding. Kyk AITSA maande om 18:30 op NTV, oneup2.com as ook op Netwerk Media Hub en NTV Afrikaans se YouTube kanale. Volg ons op Facebook of besoek ons webwerf by aitsafrica.com.
And here with the checkered flag on our episode of Lights Out. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can catch Lights Out at 5:30 every Friday on network television DSTV 285 and GoTV 25 exclusively in Namibia. If you are outside Namibia or you'd like to catch us online, you can have a look at oneup2.com. But until next week, drive it like you stole it.